Chapter 413, 268 Zhangzhou Reveals Holiness, Yin-Yang Divine Seed, 4K for monthly tickets and subscriptions, /2. He was immersed in it, throwing punches as if he and the world were one. The martial arts tree above remained in a state of enlightened brilliance, seemingly without pause. Without any need for thought, this state was undoubtedly linked to the influence of the Tao Yun of Zhangzhou. Time passed. More and more people gathered outside hidden immortal rock. Gu Lingtong gazed in shock at the 72 Tai Chi boxing diagrams shimmering faintly, each manual coming to life, demonstrating Tai Chi moves that had never been seen before. The lines flowed and flickered uncertainly. Such a scene could truly be called a miraculous manifestation of immortal law. Everyone was silent, their breaths audible. What's going on? Damn, are we hallucinating? What's happening? At that moment, everyone had ended their state of Tao comprehension. On site there was only one person, oblivious to everything, practicing Tai Chi. Lu Chenju, atop hidden immortal rock. An old Taoist was awakened from his slumber. Elder Feiyun, the guardian of hidden immortal rock and the nearby scripture pavilion. He had reached the Grandmaster realm 6 decades ago. The old Taoist was cranky upon waking, murmuring, "What's disturbing my meditation? Elder Feiyun, you must go see what's happening at hidden immortal rock." Making a fuss over nothing. Elder Feiyun leaped down, landing straight at hidden immortal rock. By now, hundreds had gathered in front of this small cave dwelling. They had heard that Zhangzhou had manifested his divine presence. Such things were unheard of and unseen by the younger disciples. Elder Feiyun's eyes narrowed. Zhangzhou has manifested, it's actually true. In his 2 centuries of life, this was the first time he had witnessed such an event. Of course, historical records confirmed that manifestations at hidden immortal rock had occurred a few times, the last being when Xuanwu Taoist had comprehended the Tao. Zhangzhou's martial arts will was immensely powerful. He had left behind Tao Yun akin to the heavenly heart mark at hidden immortal rock. If an observer had sufficient Tao wisdom or extraordinary comprehension, they would be able to draw upon this spiritual force during their contemplation of his Tao Yun, even manifesting it visibly, though faintly, like martial arts spirit. Fundamentally, it was an elaborate illusion. These young people, generally having weaker spiritual power, were easily influenced. Elder Feiyun steadied his mind and looked again. The animated characters and patterns returned to their original state. Just as I thought. Elder Feiyun looked at Lu Chenju. He naturally had heard about this remarkable individual. His recent accomplishment in reverse attack break 2 had quickly spread through the martial arts circle, captivating both the youths and old masters of the martial arts world. Interesting. Deep within Wuding Mountain, there were 7 peaks enshrouded in clouds, surrounded by mythical birds. It was well known that the Wuding 7 realms practitioners had cultivation that reached the heavens. The leader of the 7 realms, Xuanwu Taoist, an absolute peak-strong figure, was the first peak master. The deputy of the 7 realms, remote mountain Taoist, a top-level heavenly king, was the second peak master. The third Pine Creek Taoist. The remaining 4 were also renowned figures within the martial arts world, any of whom could serve as president of an ordinary top-tier university, ranking among the strongest in all nations. However, given their modest nature, most of these leaders refrained from competitive events. Otherwise, the ranking of the top 100 would certainly be overturned. One day, the masters of the 4 peaks, aside from the first 3 who remained in Zhenwu City, along with the current master of Zhenwu Palace, Qi Shan Taoist, turned into rainbows and ascended to the heavens. Someone has stirred the Tao Yun of hidden immortal rock. Is it Hong Tianxiang? No, Tianxiang has already comprehended the Tao, and there was no unusual phenomenon. It's Lu Chenju. The only Kun Tao among the 4 peak masters, picking Lotus Taoist, expressed confusion. Lu Chenju, who is that? A new Taoist body from our Taoist school. Qi Shan Taoist laughed. Sister, you've been in seclusion too long and lost track of time. This Lu Chenju is a prodigy from Dragon City, born a few years ago, low-class root bone, entered the ranks at 15, broke limitations at 19, and shocked quite a few old masters with his reverse attack break 2 not long before. The white-haired, never-questioned Taoist inquired. How excellent is this child's Tao body? Qi Shan Taoist shook his head. Unknown, even Dragon City has no record. perhaps a never-before-seen new martial bone Tao embryo, his potential is tremendous nonetheless, increasingly fierce. The seventh peak master, divine courtyard Taoist, looking towards hidden immortal rock, asked, "Should we inform the first brother about this? Let's notify him. Jiangsu manifesting is a major event for our Taoist school. When first brother comprehended the Tao, he gleaned from it a portion of pure Yang Wuji scripture, as did we some lost methods. If this Lu Chenju comprehends some profound techniques, I'll shamelessly spend some resources and seek his guidance." Hidden immortal rock was an invisible martial arts treasury left behind by Grandmaster Zhang. Only those who passed its test could comprehend the wonderful Tao method. It was highly probable that those who triggered such phenomena would be taught by Grandmaster Zhang. Hidden immortal rock. Lu Chenju had been practicing boxing for 8 hours. Outside the cave, more and more people gathered. Ordinary martial artists followed and practiced boxing until their physical strength could no longer keep up. Only martial artists could maintain and continue practicing. Grandmaster Zhang manifested sanctity invisibly, making the comprehension of Tao Yun much simpler. "Ha ha ha, I have comprehended it too. I saw Grandmaster Zhang. It's done, I have succeeded too." The way Grandmaster Zhang practices boxing is truly unique. When one man attained the Tao, everyone benefited. As night fell, a Taoist person of ordinary appearance, but with the demeanor of a heavenly person, and a height of 1.90 meters, carrying a long sword, walked leisurely up the mountain path and stood quietly outside the cave. The students nearby bowed respectfully and said, "Greetings, Chief." The chief has also arrived. The newcomer was Hong Tianxiang, who possessed the Xuanwu Dao body, exuding a breakthrough second realm aura. He watched Lu Chenju box quietly, resembling an awakening Xuan turtle. To be able to trigger the manifestation of the Grandmaster's Tao Yun is extraordinary. Could it be that Lu Chenju also possesses a top-level Tao body? It might even be the unborn perceived truth Tao body. In the hallucination, the Wudang Mountain during the Great Capital Era. Taikai boxing, perfection. Divine seed Taikai first rank, stored in the Shenmen acupoint. Pure Yang Taikai, transforming all beings. Effect 1. Level 1 Tao wisdom, slightly enhances Taoist martial arts comprehension. Effect 2. Level 1 Taikai, slightly enhances Taikai boxing comprehension. Effect 3. Yin-Yang, harmonizing yin and yang, 2 Qi return to 1, can balance the body's yin and yang, can improve different martial arts schools, boxing methods and compatibility of different power types. Effects 1 and 2 were as expected by Lu Chenju. Effect 3, however, surprised him. Taikai boxing has such a function as well. This Effect 3 must also be born from the martial arts tree. Otherwise, any other big figures casually practicing Taikai boxing could solve the harmonization problems plaguing the martial arts world. Regardless, this Effect 3 was very beneficial for him to reconcile the contradictions of the tiger-swallow dual forms, which was the only concern he had about breaking the second shackles. Taikai boxing, good stuff. Lu Chenju was inspired and gained insight. At this moment, the sloppy Taoist stopped boxing. At his spot, he paced back and forth, pondering the subtleties of boxing. Grandmaster Zhang at this time had reached the great Grandmaster's end realm, the closest to unlocking the 6 realms at that era. He possessed stunning wisdom, academically a heavenly person, and was proficient in the 3 religions. However, as a pathbreaker, breaking through the 6th realm was immensely difficult. Every time humanity broke a new shackle, it was contesting with heaven and earth. Lu Chenju quietly watched the Taoist's thoughtful contemplation from an outsider's perspective. He had studied martial arts history and roughly knew some things. The sloppy Taoist held his head with both hands. The more he thought, the more his head ached. He simply lay down on the ground and fell into a deep sleep. Occasionally, he would talk in his sleep. In his dreams, the old Tao still studied how to break the 6th. His ungroomed mouth muttered nonstop. The outer elixir Tao is doomed to fail. Heavenly Master Zhang has tried it and so has LV Zhu. The inner elixir Tao is enough to step into the 5th realm. Theoretically, it can also step into the 6th realm, but it seems that something is still lacking. What am I missing? Where has the red dragon true man gone? I really want to ask my master. It would be great if LV Zhu and I were born in the same era. With our breathtaking wisdom, we would definitely discuss a reasonable method to break through the 6th. Why not ask the firekeeper at Shaolin Temple? Forget it. Monk Kong Wen is busy researching the world venerates Tathagata method and wants to create the world's #1 supreme palm technique. He's too busy to care about me. The elder leisure of Kunlun Mountain, that's possible. The Pinglai Island master might also understand my plight. Everyone else falls a bit short. Alas, a kindred spirit is hard to find in this world. Let's just sleep. After a while, the sloppy Taoist's snoring resonated loudly as he slept. Lu Chenju thought to himself, Grandmaster Zhang is really casual. As time passed, the sloppy Taoist rolled over, stretched, and yawned. He opened his eyes and calmly asked, How do you think one should advance into the 6th realm? Chapter 414, 269 An Immortal Touches My Crown, Conferring Divine Skill 3K, Seeking Double Monthly Tickets at Mid-Month. In an instant, Lu Chenju's mind was stirred by an overwhelming surge, like a gravely ill man jolted awake, as if lightning had struck his very soul. He had always been composed, with a firm Taoist heart. Yet at this moment, his heart couldn't help but tremble faintly, because he felt that Zhang Zhu was speaking to him. But this was merely an illusion, a martial arts imprint left by a deceased martial arts strong. How could a conversation take place with him? Such a scene was too astonishing to fathom. In the illusion, Lu Chenju looked back. The valley was serene, empty of others. Young friend. The sloppy Taoist's voice resonated once again. Lu Chenju stiffly turned his head and tried to ask, Senior, are you talking to me? The sloppy Taoist was lying on his side, propped up on his elbow, and laughed. I was thinking, there aren't any other people around here. Could it be that I am too immersed in the Daoyuan, unable to distinguish reality? What's going on? Zhang Zhu is a person from the great capital dynasty. How is he in conversation with the ancients? Has Zhang Zhu died? Could it really be, as the folk rumors say, that he ascended to immortality? Is this a dream, or is this reality? Eventually, Lu Chenju simply went with the flow and chuckled. The junior was frightened after all. Senior is a person who has passed away. The sloppy Taoist laughed heartily and said, Have I died? What else then? Even those at the absolute peak can die. Absolute peak. The junior refers to those who have broken through 7 shackles. Oh, so it's already the 7th realm. The old Taoist here is still troubled by the 6th shackles. Young friend, you haven't answered my question just now. Lu Chenju mused, I am just an ordinary martial artist. How could I understand something that even a great Taoist ancestor like you doesn't grasp? But after all, I did score full marks in De Zia martial arts history. Just then, an inspiration flashed, and he recalled a phrase Zhang Zhu said after failing to break through the shackles. Lu Chenju said, Senior, the junior is of low cultivation and has shallow knowledge. I happened to hear a phrase from an enlightened master, not sure if I should say it. The sloppy Taoist blew his beard. Why are you beating around the bush? Out with it. Lu Chenju took a deep breath and said, To trust in the Tao is to understand the subtle. Only then does one know that the whole of life and fate requires cultivation. Oh, this high person is actually talking about me. After Zhang Zhu failed his breakthrough and ascended as an immortal, he seemed to have an epiphany and uttered this enigmatic saying. Sadly, this phrase's philosophy was too advanced, far beyond the comprehension of the current era. Hence, for 1,000 years afterwards, as dynasties changed and the world evolved, with many brilliant individuals emerging in De Zia, no one was able to solve the mystery within. In the history books it was called, a phrase that silenced a millennium. Throughout these 1,000 years, countless prodigies were born. Elder Leisure from Carefree Palace, Fang Kaian the Pinglai Island Master, the White Dragon Lord from Great Snow Mountain, Sky-Climbing Dharma King from the Western regions, Divine Monk Kongwen from Shaolin Temple, Pudu Divine Nun from South Sea, Taosword Immortal from Shushan, the Mad Dragon King from the Demon Path, and later the Grand Monk Master Wenda from Gold Mountain Monastery. The Taoist paths these individuals created shook the future generations. The cultivation methods they pioneered evolved into supreme divine skills. Any one of these individuals was the pinnacle of their era, a god among men. Yet no one could unravel the mystery of this phrase. Many came extremely close and tried to interpret and break through the shackles with their methods, but still failed. Thus, the ultimate peak of martial arts had been great grandmaster for a millennium. The wheels of history rolled into modern times. At this time, in the twilight years of the feudal dynasty, the founder of Dragon and Tiger Academy, and one of today's absolute peak figures, the Dragon and Tiger Great Sky Master had finally grasped the deep meaning of Zhang Zu's phrase. With the golden core path of dual cultivation of life and fate, he broke through the six shackles and became the heavenly master of kings. This is martial arts. If no one creates a new path, a single sixth shackle can trap the world's heroes for 1,000 years, like a female fairy who has never tasted the forbidden fruit, aloof and reserved, untouched by the mortal world's offerings. Yet, once someone leads the way in overcoming this barrier of the Tao, it transforms from an ice mountain fairy into a voracious and enchanting fox fairy, ready to be conquered by those daring enough. Once this mystical veil is lifted, the pretense is dropped. Thereafter, martial arts kings sprouted like bamboo after the rain. The era of a phrase that silenced a millennium was declared over. Human history also entered the modern era of rapid technological and martial arts development. All of this is from the knowledge of De Zia martial arts history. Before, Lu Chenju thought that the stuff in textbooks, especially martial arts history, was unlikely to be of much use. However, this journey made him realize that he was grossly mistaken. The history of human martial arts was condensed within this historic site. The sloppy Taoist then asked, "What is nature? What is fate?" Lu Chenju thought for a moment and answered, "To exhaustively understand principle is to reach the potential of one's nature, thereby fulfilling one's fate." The sloppy Taoist frowned. "Although it's reasonable, it's too abstract." Lu Chenju fell silent. The sloppy Taoist said, "Actually, it's very simple. You're overthinking it. The body and mind are life itself. If I were to punch you and you died, your life would be gone. If I punched your loved one to death, your heart would die, and your life would also be gone. LV Zhu's inner core pathway is about keeping life itself safe, and climbing to the peak of martial arts is about strengthening life itself. Training spirit, essence, and energy together, forming a golden core within the body, cultivating life in twofold. It sounds simple, but neither Heavenly Master Zhang, LV Zhu, nor any of the ancient sages achieved this. We're always missing something." Lu Chenju seemed to grasp something, but didn't quite understand. "Elder, what are we missing?" The sloppy Taoist laughed. "If I knew, I wouldn't have failed." Lu Chenju couldn't help but ask, "Elder, weren't you supposed to have ascended and died?" "Yes, I'm dead." "Ah, then how can the elder speak with me?" "Have you died? Do you know what it's like after death?" "That makes sense." Heavenly Master Zhang, considered an ancestor of mine, once said that the Tao is endless. Before he entered the Tao, he saw the endless future of martial arts and hoped to meet with the true practitioners of Dragon and Tiger Mountain at the end of the Tao. Martial arts is not just about expanding the length of knowledge for current martial artists. It is also about expanding the breadth for all the past and present pioneers. Lu Chenju fell silent, pondering the meaning of Zhang Zu's words. Zhang Zu said, "Martial arts carries too much. Your realm is not high enough to see, which is why you're surprised. In fact, martial artists of ancient and modern times, even separated by life and death, can communicate." Lu Chenju seemed to understand. "Heavenly Heart Mark. It's just one aspect. There are many others. Why does martial arts keep progressing faster and faster? I stand on the shoulders of all the sages before the Dadu dynasty, like LV Zhu and Heavenly Master Zhang, and you stand on our shoulders. When you opened the inner realm, you must have seen that 1,000-feet-high peak. Oh, right, by your era, it could already be a 10,000-feet-high peak. The peak of martial arts is built from the body, mind, and life of countless climbers. Thus, like truth, martial arts is inexhaustible, because humans, like the foolish old man moving the mountain, continue from generation to generation without end. With the ever-changing world, more and more martial artists will keep on adding bricks and tiles to the martial arts peak." Lu Chenju's mind recalled the words of Lingkong Shangren when he first broke the shackles. Li Lingkong wished to become a figure for the world, tearing mountains from their roots and slicing open the sky. The sloppy Taoist suddenly asked, "Are you ready?" "What readiness?" "The awareness of becoming a pathbreaker." "Pathbreaker?" Every martial practitioner must have the awareness to become a pathbreaker. The human world is never tranquil, and the vast horrors of the netherworld will one day take the stage. Martial arts is inexhaustible, but humanity is not. If we die, martial arts also ends. So long as one martial artist remains, so long as humans exist, martial arts will not perish. One day, all creatures will meet at the end of martial arts in victory. Those who support this vast era of martial arts are not only those present today, but also those from the past. Lu Chenju was deeply moved and murmured to himself, "Martial arts will not perish, the will endures. The body tempered 1,000 times over, and the will that never fades. That is a true martial artist." The sloppy Taoist laughed. "Yes, if the body and mind are undying, then life does not die." The sloppy Taoist stood up, patted the dust off his bottom, and swaggered off into the distance. His back was turned to Lu Chenju, his back to all creatures, and he radiated an indescribable aura of clarity and detachment, yet there was a hint of lonely bleakness about him. Only the well-known ballad of Zhang came drifting over. A rootless tree, flowers serene, who would wish to part with splendor and sheen. The transient world, a boat in bitter oceans, tossed about and never free. The boundless, shoreless expanse hard to tie, forever amidst the dragons and serpents we lie. Only by looking back do we find the shore, lest the storm destroys the boat evermore. The Taoist stepped into thin air with his left foot, then the right, winds forming beneath his feet, as if stepping upon an invisible ladder, his figure rising endlessly, until he stood shoulder to shoulder with the sky and vanished without a trace. I pass on to you a mystical sect body method called cloud ascending ladder. Master this technique, and you may step on the void as if climbing a ladder to heaven, rest upon white clouds, and embrace the bright moon till the end. Lu Chenju attempted to learn this movement technique. An hour later, he shook his head in frustration. This must be a divine skill, right? His comprehension, although a superior true technique, shouldn't leave him so utterly clueless. Lower-grade true skills came effortlessly to him, but this cloud-ascending ladder, especially being a Taoist divine skill, felt as challenging as ascending to heaven. Heavenly Master Zhang thought too highly of me. Lu Chenju felt guilty for not living up to the Grandmaster's good intentions. The illusion shattered, everything was as a dream, as fleeting as a bubble's reflection. This illusion had an even stronger sense of immersion than the time with LV. Come to think of it, Lu Chenju suddenly woke with a start. When observing LV, it seemed LV also glanced his way. Could it be that LV saw him, just like Zhang Zhu? The means and powers of these divine beings cannot be measured by cultivation. They were merely confined by their times and faded away in obscurity. Lu Chenju pondered. From Zhang Zhu's tone, it seems that no one before me has communicated like this. With the talent of an absolute peak strong, could they not connect with the ancient sages? Or is there another reason, like the martial arts tree? At this thought, Lu Chenju turned to look at the martial arts tree and got a shock. Stretching towards the heavens like a giant umbrella, it was now as tall as a 5-story building. It was 10 feet tall before, and now it has grown another 17 feet. Not only that, but there was also one leaf on the martial arts tree that was much larger than any other, awkwardly standing out on a branch at the top, looking quite conspicuous. Cloud Ascending Ladder, Beginner 1%. Chapter 415. 270 Directions Cloud Stepping Boots, Feng Shui Wind Control 4K, Mid-Month Seeking Double Monthly Ticket. Cloud Ascending Ladder, Lu Chenju had not heard of it. But he knew of another similar cultivation technique, Cloud Ladder Leap. This was a famous lower body technique, divine skill from the Zhenwu Palace, said to originate from Zhang Zhu as well. He wondered what the relationship was with Cloud Ascending Ladder. Probably quite similar, only that Cloud Ladder Leap had been improved and optimized. Of course, it couldn't be ruled out that this divine skill was a new creation by the will of Zhang Zhu from within hidden immortal rock, as the years went by. Either way, he had struck gold. He had scored a divine skill for free. At the top martial university, if you wanted to learn a divine skill, unless you found a true inheritor master, you would need tens of thousands of great merits, not to mention that this was also a Taoist cultivation technique. It wasn't something you could learn just by throwing money at it. During this journey, he had already scored 4 martial arts disciplines for free. Tai Chi boxing, needless to say, was already public martial arts. Then there was the complete version of LV Pure Yang Unlimited Shield, a middle-level hard Qigong. The great unknown, great pill technique of Pure Yang. And the suspected divine skill, Cloud Ascending Ladder. He had struck it ridiculously rich. Whether he would study them now or not, he would at least get a beginner's grasp, a secured profit. If he wished to reach the absolute peak, he most likely needed mastery in 3 religions. After all, that's what the other big shots had done. Mastery in 3 religions did not mean learning all of the Zia martial arts, but understanding a little about each, in order to infer everything from one and integrate it well, to clarify the future path. The premise to moving forward is first checking all the paths. The martial arts tree had broken through to a height of 5 zhang. The fog shrouding the 5th realm of boxing theory ahead of Lu Chenju was becoming more and more transparent. This dialogue with Zhang Zhu deepened his understanding of boxing theory and martial arts theory, invaluable for his future path. Seeing the world, beholding all living beings, seeing oneself. For me, what is the world? Magnificent landscapes, 3 mountains and 5 mountains, this is the world. The sages from ancient to modern times are also the world. The elders asked me to come out and see the world, and indeed, it holds profound meaning. The 5th realm was within his reach, but just barely. However, he knew what he lacked. Buddhist sects. Both Buddha and Tao broadly influenced the Zia martial arts. To delve deeper, any boxing lineage cannot escape the relationship with the 2 mystic sects. He had already traveled to 2 Taoist sacred grounds. Next, it was time to change flavors, visit Songshan where Shaolin came from, visit Wudai Mountain where the elephant form ancestor Master Li Lingkong became a monk, merge Buddha Tao, and verify martial arts. The spirit of the current Lu Chenju had completely transformed. In his eyes, there was also a profound light. He subtly began to possess the demeanor and temperament of one who had attained the Tao. By this time, it was midnight. The moon shone brightly, casting light upon the stunned figures below. Lu Chenju was slightly taken aback as he looked at hidden immortal rock, surrounded by a sea of people. Not just from Wuding Mountain, but Dragon and Tiger Mountain, Qian Mountain, Qingcheng Mountain. Many people had coming to witness the manifestation of Zhang Zhu, with thousands watching Lu Chenju demonstrate his boxing. For a moment, the atmosphere turned somewhat awkward. Gu Lingtong asked somewhat dazedly, "Brother Lu, have you attained enlightenment?" "Indeed I have." Lu Chenju let out a laugh and greeted the crowd with a fist-and-palm salute. He made his way through the crowd, looking out at the 7 peaks of Wuding shrouded in the night. Lu Chenju bowed deeply. "Thank you, the elders of Wuding." Finally, he bowed deeply toward hidden immortal rock. "Zhang Zhu above, please accept this junior salute." He excitedly darted through the woods like a child. The crowd watched Lu Chenju with envy, curiosity, skepticism. All these were present. What exactly did he realize? I feel what we realized is not the same Tao. He had Zhang Zhu show his saintly presence. How could it be the same? Could it be that he dreamt of Zhang Zhu and received the sage's teachings? It's very likely. Alas, it now seems clear who possesses the perceived truth Tao body. Yeah, without the Tao body, how could one make Zhang Zhu show his saintly presence? From then on, the theory of Lu Chenju's Tao body began to spread. This is how martial arts rumors come about. On the mountain path, Lu Chenju halted. A figure approached him, clad in a green robe, with hair tied up in a bun, eyes sparkling like the morning stars, an aura like a rainbow, seated as immovable as a mountain, moving like a dragon or a tiger, each step without gathering dust. Lu Chenju had seen this person in the news. He promptly greeted. Junior Lu Chenju, paying respects to Elder Qi Shan. Taoist Qi Shan, one of the 7 real individuals of Wuding, possessing heavenly king cultivation, headmaster of the academic institution. He had not participated in the all-nations martial arts competition, hence no ranking. But undoubtedly, his power was no less impressive than Principal Li Jin. Taoist Qi Shan smiled and said, "Young friend, your wandering to Wuding this time has been quite fruitful, hasn't it?" "Yes, thank you, senior, for granting passage." "Wuding Mountain is De Zia's resource. What's there to grant passage? I've come to ask you, did you realize any cultivation method within hidden immortal rock?" "I figured out a movement technique." "May I boldly inquire, what kind of movement technique?" "Cloud ascending ladder." Taoist Qi Shan appeared unfazed. Cloud ascending ladder sounds a lot like cloud ladder leap. Cloud ladder leap was created by a disciple of Zhang Zhu. After being refined generation after generation by powerful Taoists, it became a divine skill. Do you still remember the movement techniques, mnemonics, or diagrams? "I do." "Would you mind copying a version for me?" "Of course." Lu Chenju did not selfishly treasure his gains. Zhang Zhu was, after all, an ancestor of Wuding. Sharing the benefits he received with Wuding was only appropriate. Qi Shen raised his hand, and two items floated in front of Lu Chenju. One was a pair of cloud Taoist boots, shining with divine light. The other was a token carved with Chuanwu, equally extraordinary. Seeing Lu Chenju still in shock, Taoist Qi Shen smiled and said, "Take them, consider it a gift from an elder. The last one who made Zhang Zhu manifest was my senior brother Chuanwu Taoist. I suspect you also harbor a Taoist body unwittingly." Chapter 416. 270 Directions Cloud Stepping Boots, Wind Element Control by Feng Su 4K, seeking double monthly tickets in mid-month, /2. Qi Shen Taoist sighed with regret. Such qualifications, if only they could join his Taoist sect. Staying in Dragon City is such a waste. Lu Chenju asked, "Elder, what are these?" He was not being pretentious, he truly wanted them. Qi Shen Taoist explained, "These shoes are divine weapon magic shoes, known as the 10 Directions Cloud Stepping Boots. They are a low-class inheriting divine weapon of our Taoist sect. Once worn, they allow the wearer to move as swiftly as the wind and even tread short distances through the air. Should you encounter another assassin who has broken through the second shackle, better to flee if you can. There's no need to engage with them. Roaming the world, safety comes first." Lu Chenju's heart was ablaze. What fantastic items, especially for making a getaway. They sounded incredibly powerful. Paired with the cold silkworm robe and the swallow form body technique, if he met that assassin again, he could just take off. Unless he couldn't escape, who would want to try and break the second shackle? As for this token, it is called the True Martial Order. With this token, you are considered half a student of Zhenwu Palace. If you meet alumni of Zhenwu Palace in the future, show them this token, and they will assist you. If you wish to learn the Wuding skills, you can also use this token to gain access to the Scripture Pavilion. Of course, you will need to pay to learn the skills, which can be done with cash. Lu Chenju accepted the items with both hands, thinking to himself that these were good things. This token instantly granted him half the privileges of a Wuding disciple, without the need to join the academy. Elder's kindness, this junior will bear in mind. Qi Shen Taoist said, "The True Martial Order has only been issued 100 times since its creation, and apart from you, nearly all are held by outsiders who have made outstanding contributions to Wuding, or are heavenly kings and absolute peak strong individuals with whom we share deep bonds. Make good use of it." The Taoist reasoning was quite simple. For a martial arts genius with such excellent moral character and the ability to manifest ancestor Zhang, there was no need for factional distinctions. Befriending a person of absolute peak status was advantageous. Absolute peak status, that was Dragon King's evaluation. Even if the Dragon King had misjudged, this Lu Chenju could probably become a heavenly king in the future. The Taoist asked, "Where will your next destination be?" "The Shaolin Temple, I suppose." "Good, we shall meet again if fate allows." The Taoist soared into the sky and disappeared without a trace. Lu Chenju looked back at Wuding Mountain. This trip was worthwhile. After checking everything, he placed the True Martial Order close to his chest. The material of this token was likely of excellent quality, akin to outer heaven mysterious iron, and served well as a protective amulet over his heart. As for the 10 Directions Cloud Stepping Boots, he couldn't wait to put them on his feet. Divine weapons like these always fit perfectly regardless of size, offering supreme comfort. Warm in winter, cool in summer, and breathable. Once he put on these boots, he nearly had the bearing of a Taoist expert. All that's missing is a Taoist robe. Lu Chenju gently touched the ground, an invisible breeze of agility lifting him 10 jang high. Then, a burst of counterforce from the sole of the boot propelled him forward, and he shot off into the distance in an instant. So fast. Within a breath, he had already moved 100 meters away. Finally, after 5 breaths, he landed a li away. Gliding a li, truly a divine artifact. When he thought to repeat the feat, he found that the mysterious power inside the sole of the boots seemed to have dissipated. Looks like it has a cooldown time, similar to the cold silkworm robe. These boots would be highly valued in the military war merit store as well, with similar capabilities. A pair would cost a few thousand battle merits, slightly more expensive than ordinary divine weapons. For one thing, divine weapons could replace lower-level virtual blade weapons. But for items like shoes and robes, there were simply no substitutes. Not to mention, the use of such divine weapons doesn't require advanced martial arts. In a game, these would be top-notch equipment without any level restrictions. On this day, the news that Dragon City's top student, Lu Chenju, had comprehended the Tao at the hidden immortal rock of Wuding and induced ancestor Zhang to manifest, spread rapidly across the internet. Before the public could digest Lu Chenju's feat of overcoming the second shackle, this guy hit everyone with another even more explosive piece of news. Who was ancestor Zhang? A manifestation of such an immortal was bound to be a major event. Even those Taoist body individuals hadn't induced such a manifestation. The last manifestation was by Chunwu Taoist, an absolute peak-strong individual. What this implied was self-evident. The news spread like snowflakes, reaching Martial Arts University of Dragon City. In the Genius Classes chat group, everyone was enthusiastically discussing. Ziohe, my big bro Lu Chenju, possesses the stature of an absolute peak strong. Chen Zioan, my buddy Chenju awesome. Leopard Woman, brother Lu's journey this time has truly made his name known throughout the world. Wang Hongdao, brother Lu will from now on be the benchmark for Dragon City's top student. The students of Fangshan High School were even more thrilled. Liu Huan reminisced about the drunken words at a past classmate gathering, and they had now become prophetic. I just knew one day who in the world would not know you. Tiger Teeth Girl and the others were filled with emotion. They were still a distance away from becoming martial artists. Yet Lu Chenju was about to break second shackles, and his fame had skyrocketed. Having such a classmate was indeed a matter of pride. Kingshan Kang Villa. A small gathering of the sect, only missing Lu Chenju. With Lu Chenju absent, he was the topic of conversation at the dinner table every day. Old Jai would get so excited thinking about his disciples' reverse attack break 2, and then excitedly proceed to opening the acupoint. Jai Feiyan's little face flushed with excitement. She exclaimed, "My junior brother has really outdone himself, even causing Zhang Zhu to manifest." Old Jai turned on his phone and saw the news reports and chat groups all discussing it. All the topics were about Lu Chenju, his disciple. Old Jai's voice trembled with excitement, and he couldn't help but clap. Good, 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 truly of absolute peak presence. What are these four great Taoist body? What is Buddha body? Regardless of what martial bone Tao embryo, none of them are as badass as my disciple. He wanted to live well. He wanted to be a master of the absolute peak. Mighty Kunlun, abode of the mythological Queen Mother of the West. In a valley like a Shangri-La, where snow from the mountains turned into babbling brooks flowing eastward, Li Gui and Li Yu, the pair of immortal lovers, lay on the grassy slopes of the hillside basking in the sun. Days like these are truly comfortable. Yes, with a heart free from distractions, enjoying life. What should we name our daughter? How about Li Yao? I hope Yar will have top-class root bone. I'll personally teach her swordsmanship. One can't force a root bone. It's good enough if she grows up safely. It would be best if she becomes a martial artist. I do not wish for the pain of the elder sending off the younger. Ding-a-ling-ling. Li Gui answered the phone, and Hong Fu laughed heartily. Master, you ought to look at the news. What's happened now? Just look and you'll see. Li Gui glanced at the screen, and his expression was shocked. Beside him, Li Yu asked, "What is it?" Chenju has caused Zhang Zhu to manifest. Li Gui simply couldn't understand. How could Chenju, a genius of elephant form, incite a Taoist ancestor to show signs of presence? On the other end of the phone, Hong Fu's voice came through. I was wrong. Chenju is not just a tiger form prodigy. He's a martial arts all-rounder. Void Realm. Imperial Capital, Starfire City. Wan Shixian listened to his assistant report the recent events outside. Reverse attack break 2, drawing out Zhang Zhu's manifestation. The Dragon King's evaluation was indeed precise. This child was truly of an absolute peak presence. Zhenwu City. The Taoist in the dark robe, eyes vast as the stars, pondered. Zhang Zhu's manifestation. Songshan. Among the 5 mountains. Taishi Mountain's 36 peaks and Shaoxi Mountain's 36 peaks, a total of 72 magnificent, perilous peaks, and the ancient temples nestled within them, along with the ancient lanterns and Buddhas, made up the practice grounds of Shaolin. The Buddhist path of cultivation originated in the ancient Po Suo country, and hence fifth theory and culture were also heavily influenced by it, sharing commonalities in the spirit cultivation theories. When Buddhism entered Dazia, the three religions merged. Martial artists on this land took the path of simultaneously cultivating essence, chi, and spirit, becoming the strongest extraordinary system of the current times. This day, on the martial arts training ground of Shaolin Temple, a group of students from Songshan Martial Arts University sneaked glances during their training at the young figure strolling in Taoist boots. The head of Dragon City has arrived. He's surely here for the Dharma Wall. He wouldn't cause Dharma ancestor to manifest, would he? It's actually quite possible. Dragon City is derived from Wudai Mountain's Lingkong Taoist lineage. Much of its fifth theory is common with Buddhism. Compared to Taoist affinity, this child has a deeper Buddhist connection. For a moment, all the disciples were curious. Neither fully Taoist nor Buddhist, if one could consummate both Tao and Buddha. That would really leave no room for others to live. Chapter 417. 271 Fifth Theory Breakthrough, Comprehending the Artistic Conception. I have a tree that continues the legacy. It is called martial arts. Lu Chenju stood tall upon the earth. In front of him was the Dharma Wall, where Shaolin disciples contemplated the Tao. Along with hidden immortal rock and immortal cave, it was designated as a key cultural heritage protection unit by Dazia. People from the four seas and 5 lakes ceaselessly came here to seek enlightenment. As a current celebrity, wherever he went, there was always a crowd of onlookers surrounding him. He ignored them, focusing intently on the wall before him. On the mural, a monk with thick eyebrows and large eyes, draped in a red robe, was sometimes seated in meditation, sometimes standing and practicing the basic boxing Arhat fist. Bodhidharma was not a native of Dazia. Lu Chenju practiced the cross-training Buddhist methods of Arhat skill, golden body skill, and Ming King body, as well as the Buddhist secret technique Bodhi technique. His understanding of the Buddhist foundation was even deeper than that of the Taoist heritage, and the rich Tao Yun aura that rushed toward him brought him instant enlightenment. In an illusion, a high-caste Po Suo monk crossed mountains and ridges like an ascetic monk, measuring the earth under his feet, traveling eastward to spread and promote Buddhist teachings in Dazia. He discussed Buddhist teachings with the martial emperor in Jinling, then crossed the river on a reed, ventured north to Shendu to debate with high monks, and finally arrived at Shaolin Temple, where, in a cave by the Dharma Wall, he sat cross-legged with hands in the Michuan position, eyes downcast, heart aiming towards the sky, deep in contemplation. He contemplated the Buddhist law martial arts, the past and present. At that time, Grandmaster was the limit of martial arts, and LV Zhu who would break through fifth had not yet been born. Dharma ancestor had traveled to many countries, leaving his footprints all over the world. His cultivation had reached the absolute peak of the Grandmaster realm, just a step away from the fifth realm. He wanted to break through. Of course, Lu Chenju, well-versed in history, knew that Dharma had failed. Had he succeeded, he would have attained the great Arhat fruit position in the human world. He was ready, but the era was not. Every breakthrough required more martial artists to challenge the invisible constraints between heaven and earth, accumulating more experience and lessons. Dharma lacked the right opportunity and advantageous conditions. After 90 years of meditation in Songshan, Dharma emerged from his seclusion. The aged monk stood atop the wall-facing cliff, the mountain wind lifting the majestic Arhat phantom behind him. At that moment, Dharma had lost the sharp edge he had when he first entered Dazia. He became wiser, more profound, thorough in his understanding and enlightenment. Dharma sighed softly, his tone complex. After 90 years of seclusion, I still failed. Unless something unexpected happens in 500 years, a talented individual from the Taoist realm will descend and ascend upon breaking through the realm. I had wished to establish a new peak for the Dazia Zen sect to promote Buddhist teachings, but alas, the conditions here are insufficient, and my wisdom has limits. At the foot of the mountain, numerous monks witnessing Dharma's emergence gathered around. Did Dharma Chan Master also fail? Is the practice of Po Suo unable to confirm my path? Why has this happened? Starting with Heavenly Master Zhang, heroes of the world, lofty individuals who have attempted to enter the fifth realm, already exceed the count of 2 hands. The great Tao is hard to seek. Dharma looked at the sorrowful monks and said, "The time hasn't come, no need for anger in your hearts. Our Zen sect of Buddhism, no matter the storm or rain, is solid as rock in mind, and in an instant can comprehend thousands of truths. As his words fell, the 5 signs of worldly decline manifested upon him. Dirty clothes, withered flowers on the head, sweating under the armpits, a foul-smelling body, finding no joy in his original position. Failing to break through, the fruits of his tribulations came swiftly, but the old monk's face was as undisturbed as a mirror-still lake. For those born as heavenly people, death is also a rebirth, and Dharma firmly believed that the Buddha heart and martial arts could penetrate through the past and present, enduring forever. His body began to collapse, disintegrating. His spotless golden body, toughened from cross-training, turned to ashes, and the golden skeleton melted into a round, shining golden pill amidst the invisible karmic flames. His Shariputra, the concentration of his body, heart, and spirit, and the culmination of his life's wisdom and martial arts expertise. The Shariputra transformed into a fleeting light, surging into the cliffs, imprinting itself within them, and scenes began to spontaneously emerge, crossing the long years to become the present Dharma wall. High in the sky, the Arhat phantom condensed from Dharma's spirit was still faintly breathing, saying, "Do not seek the Buddha afar, the spirit mountain is in your heart. Only by comprehending this can you be liberated." The Arhat's voice was deafening, like a sudden enlightening realization, a resounding censure. Eventually, the Arhat spirit also merged into the Dharma wall, dissipating completely. Only a voice echoing in the empty valley lingered long, dwelling constantly in the appearance of still destruction, wisdom difficult to surpass. Alone transcending outside of 3 realms, no longer entangled, in saga. Dharma ancestor entered Tao. The scene faded, then suddenly brightened. And there was still an Easter egg. Hundreds of years had passed, and it was now the time of the Dadu dynasty. In front of the Dharma wall, a plump little novice monk with wise eyes was now slightly tearful. He returned to the kitchen without a word, carrying a bucket of water. It seemed as though he had realized something within the Dharma wall. Crack, the illusion shattered completely, dead silence reigning. Even though he had seen heavenly master Zhang, Prince N, LV Zhu, Zhang Zhu, and others of unparalleled significance, Lu Chenju, experiencing the Tao Yun of a mighty Buddhist figure for the first time, was still stunned. In 500 years, LV Zhu will prove his Tao. Lu Chenju calculated the time, and it indeed was so. Dharma ancestor, truly a born heavenly person. Could he even foresee events 500 years in the future? Suddenly, Lu Chenju thought back to what Chen Yuan had said when he first entered Dragon and Tiger Mountain. Those born as heavenly people who have reached the pinnacle of the era in cultivation see a different heaven and earth from us. They see farther because they are already standing at the highest peak, apart from the lofty heavenly heart. No one can block their vision. Perhaps this is the reason why the mighty ones can foresee the future. What have the absolute peak figures of today, Wan Shixian and the others, seen? Lu Chenju mused in his heart. Rustle, 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 the martial arts tree began to grow again. Soon it reached a height of 5 zhang and 5 kai. This strand of Buddhist Tao Yun became the final strike to break through the barrier of the 4th realm of boxing. The martial arts inner realm trembled, and Lu Chenju's spirit began to transform. His momentum and temperament changed from the inside out. Moved by an urge, he began practicing the heavenly destiny mystic tiger fist. Below the Dharma wall, the crowd watched. Look, the leading martial artist of Dragon City is practicing his fist again. Could it be that the Dharma ancestor is manifesting? Surely not. Suddenly, a figure strolled forth with each step blooming lotuses. This was a white-browed old monk whose body friction hummed with the roar of dragon elephants, like a great bell tolling. Beside him there were 2 other monks. One was clad in white, handsome and slender, his body like a piece of flawless golden jade that emitted a metallic thunder leaping through the void as he breathed. Another wore black, with a masculine visage and eyes like those of a fierce tiger, a broad figure akin to pagoda, and his thick, round arms crossed over his chest, as if a Vajra Arhat walked the earth. The trio's arrival prompted all the students to pay their respects in turn. Greetings, Elder Ding Yuan. These 3 monks were renowned figures within the martial arts world. Chuo Tian head monk looked at Lu Chenju, who was engrossed in his boxing, reflecting to himself. Amitabha, this young man truly shares a bond with Buddha. Lu Chenju's summoning of Zhang Zu's divine presence, he chose to conveniently forget. Zhending and Mingxin, on the other hand, recalled their younger selves. Their first enlightenment at the Dharma Wall had been immensely rewarding. And so it appeared to be for this Dragon City's chief as well. Mingxin's mind echoed with Chen Ju's words. Old friend, my student achieved the golden body skill in just 2 years, a rare Buddhist cross-training genius. I'll trouble you with the matter of the Bodhi technique. Chen Ju had come to him in the past, seeking a secret technique. Mingxin didn't hesitate and agreed right away. One reason was his old friend, and the other was his faith in Lu Chenju. His master had said, this child possesses profound Buddhist karma and must become a great capability of Buddhism in the future. From ancient times till now, all creators of the 7 shackles have been Taoists. Whether Buddhism can be the first to break the 8th shackles, or even the 9th, it depends on these successors. Time flowed by. Lu Chenju, absorbed in the world of fist technique, watched as the fog obscuring his vision cleared away. Behind the fog, he saw figures of great capabilities akin to gods and immortals. Endless Path, Heavenly Master Zhang. Upright and Honorable Prince In. Golden Core Crafting, Ji Xianwang. Demon Slaying LV Chenyang. Thousand-Year Silence, Dharma Ancestor. Unattached to Po Xiu Dharma. No, not only these individuals. In his mind were also the figures of Shiruyu who taught him martial arts on the playground. Jai Xuantong, Hong Fu, Yu Zhang Li Gui, Qingshan Kang, Chen Ju, Wang Xian, Principal Wang. Every one of his mentors who imparted their teachings played out their methods above the clouds. First 4 realms of fist theory. Shape its form, learn its force, connect with the divine, understand its principles. 5th realm of boxing, enlighten its essence. This realm no longer clung to the exterior or logic of fist technique, but sought to comprehend the profound implications behind it, much like observing the landscape in a splashing painting, seeing beyond the surface to an artist's vision only the De Zia bloodline could grasp. So it is with painting, poetry, and other arts. Fist theory is the same. This is why, although they know the De Zia martial arts are the strongest, most fighters and spiritual practitioners do not go out of their way to delve deeply into De Zia martial arts. Unless one's ancestry is rooted here, bathed in De Zia's culture since childhood, no matter how adeptly one performs fist techniques, they cannot perceive its essence. De Zia martial arts, a path suited to the physique of De Zia people. It is comprehensive and all-encompassing, embodying the essence of the 3 religions, unique unto itself. Within the inner realm, Lu Chenju's boxing became more ethereal, his mystic tiger spirit merging with him as one. No longer was there any distinction between man and tiger. He was the tiger, and the tiger was him. His vision, birthed from the tiger form, transcended it. His vision, a sublime legacy of past saints, paving peace for eternity. Just like the 3 humble wishes he made on his birthday. Success in martial arts. Safety for loved ones. Peace in the human world. In his mind, he heard Zhang Zu's questioning voice. Do you have the awakening to become a pathbreaker? After witnessing the Saiyan pioneers of Buddhism and the valorous efforts of many to break the shackles, like moths to flames, Lu Chenju could affirm in his heart. I'm ready. In this life, I only seek martial arts, even if it costs me 9 deaths without regret. After the 5th realm of boxing, the intangible fist theory conceptions gleaned by his heart would be reflected in the inner realm in some tangible way. Upon reaching the Grandmaster realm in the future, the conception can even project from the inner realm to the outer realm, altering reality. For most who practice tiger fist, their vision is somewhat related to the tiger. But when Lu Chenju looked towards the inner realm beneath the martial arts peak, there was something entirely different. A towering tree rose into the sky. It resembled the martial arts tree, yet was not quite the same. It was much taller than the martial arts tree, with lush leaves, as if it were the world tree itself. Its branches displayed no martial arts, it was just an ordinary tree. It stood like a giant, towering over all discerning the universe. It spanned past and future, unmatched before or since. My vision is a tree. Forefathers planted trees, descendants enjoy the shade. I have a tree passing on the legacy. Its name is martial arts. Today 10,000 words are delivered, and it's the middle of the month. Ask for the monthly ticket. Chapter 418, 272 5th rank Divine Seed 4K. Fist Theory 5th Realm achieved. Once this realm was breached, Lu Chenju's spiritual power and martial arts will have undergone a qualitative improvement, his mental strength like a parched sponge, soaking up invisible nutrients. At the same time, the figure of the mystic tiger spirit rose taller, becoming more solidified. It was mightier than before, far surpassing its previous form. If Lu Chenju were to encounter that assassin from Blood-Hidden Tower again, he would not need to fuse the three spirits. Relying solely on the tiger form Qi, he could match those who had broken the second shackles with equal stature. His spirit had already surpassed the upper limit of a martial artist. You should know, the average level for someone who has broken the second shackles is the fourth realm of fist theory. Some martial arts geniuses manage to reach the fifth realm while breaking the second, Wang Xian, for example. For those who have broken the third shackles, the average is the fifth realm. Most ordinary martial arts geniuses were also in this category. Because the gap between the fifth and sixth realms is vast, it is a transformation from Li to Dao. The combined difficulty of the first 5 realms pales in comparison to this single one. Therefore, Wang Xian and Li Ao, transitioning from notable figures to masters, are on the verge of breaking through to grandmaster, but are still in the fifth realm of fist theory. Of course, there are significant differences even within the same realm. A newcomer like Lu Chenju cannot be compared to the realm of Wang Xian. Typically, only a martial arts grandmaster could reach the sixth realm. Even the weaker grandmasters remain in the fifth realm. Lu Chenju reached the fifth realm while breaking the first shackles. Such an achievement had already exceeded the scope of martial arts geniuses. Not only the mystic tiger spirit, but both the Xuan Yan and the martial king spirit also saw varying levels of improvement. Although they had not reached the fifth realm, their breakthrough was only a matter of time. The foundation of fist theory was established. With the groundwork laid high, what follows would unfold naturally. At this moment, the martial arts tree in his mind was already 7 zhang tall. Fist theory breaking the fifth realm added 2 zhang and 5 kai. This growth exceeds even the cultivation gained from absorbing the Dao Yun of Zhangzhou. Yet, it seems that the further the martial arts tree grows, the faster it accelerates, much like my strength and talent. Initially modest, but as the divine seed accumulates and the foundation of martial arts deepens, it skyrockets increasingly later on. Looking back at the so-called geniuses and prodigies, Lu Chenju was now able to view them with ordinary eyes. At the same time, the branch belonging to Heavenly Destiny Mystic Tiger Fist on the martial arts tree grew taller, elevating this martial technique to the same level as Pure Yang Unlimited Shield. This meant that this martial technique had been promoted to the middle-grade true technique level. Below were Xuan Yan Facian Fist, Tiger Suppressing Mountains and Rivers Fist, Martial King Spear, Golden Bell Jade Drum Ming King Body, and other lower-grade true technique martial techniques. Further below were the perfected Golden Body Skill and other common cross-trained hard Qi Gong. And on the branches at the base were Tai Kai Boxing, Basic Fist Techniques, and Arhat Fist, which he had naturally comprehended while understanding the Dharma Wall. Arhat Fist, proficient 1%. Lu Chenju pondered. Arhat Fist stands in Buddhism similarly to Tai Kai Boxing. I could conveniently practice it next, and after reaching perfection, see if there are any minor special effects. Even if there are none, it could still enhance some modest Buddhist martial arts comprehension. After all, practicing it couldn't hurt. The yin-yang divine seed that came from Tai Kai Boxing carried great potential. Naturally, at the top of the martial arts tree was the divine technique, Cloud Ascending Ladder. Lu Chenju guessed that it was likely a lower-grade standard. He had yet to practice this body technique. If he were willing to spend the time, given his current comprehension talent and foundation, it wasn't something he couldn't practice, but the cost-benefit was not high. The trunk of the tree displayed several cultivation techniques. From top to bottom they were Pure Yang Great Pill Skill, Tiger Demon Tai Sui Technique, Bodhi Technique, Dragon and Tiger Heavenly Pile. Judging by the position of the Great Pill Technique, its level was below Cloud Ascending Ladder, yet above Tiger Demon Tai Sui Technique, which likely meant it was at the superior True Technique standard. During this time, Lu Chenju had also inquired with his seniors in the sect, who had never heard of the Pure Yang Great Pill Skill, a Taoist inner strength method. Using his rights as a bearer of the true martial token, he accessed the Zhenwu Palace's Scripture Pavilion official website and had seen a similar inner strength method. It was called Pure Yang Wuji Scripture, a superior true technique from Zhangzhou. He speculated that perhaps this true technique was a fusion of the external Pure Yang Unlimited Shield and the internal Pure Yang Great Pill Skill by Zhangzhou. The specifics would be clear when he would study the pure Yang Wuji scripture. Thus, there was no need to cultivate this method from LV for the time being. He would continue to diligently cultivate Dragon City's inner strength. As his strength improved later on, he would decide based on the circumstances. With a thought, the new Heavenly Destiny Mystic Tiger Fist materialized. Heavenly Destiny Mystic Tiger Fist, Perfection. Divine Seed Heavenly Destiny Mystic Tiger, 5th rank, hidden within the Yancha acupoint. The Heavenly Destiny Mystic Tiger descends and gives birth to summer. Effect 1. Tiger Wisdom Level 5 moderately improves the comprehension of general fist techniques. Effect 2. Tiger Form Level 5 moderately improves the comprehension of Tiger Form fist techniques. Effect 3. Tiger Skill Level 5 moderately improves the comprehension of Tiger Form body techniques. Effect 4. Spirit of the Mystic Tiger. Effect 5. Tiger Cave moderately increases the speed of acupoint condensation. Effect 6. Mountain Occupying. Effect 7. Mountain Ghost, Exhale Mist, Inhale Wind, can create a mountain mist within the range of 1 Jang to disrupt vision with Tiger Shadows, 24 in total. Effect 8. Blazing can release high-temperature chi flow for attacks, approximately 1,000 degrees. Effect 9. Thunderclap, friction between the spirit and the body concentrates electrical currents at one point to be released at the moment of collision, approximately 2,000 volts, lasting for 2 breaths. Effect 10. Wind Step can move 4 times in the air by borrowing force. Effect 11. Crack Step. Effect 12. Tiger Whisker in the presence of the Mountain Lord, even the finest hairs must be revealed. Sensing range, 10 meters radius. Chapter 419. 272 5th rank Divine Seed, 4K/2. Effectiveness 13, Swallow Gold. Divine Seed had a total of 13 special effect entries, with the most important Comprehension special effect. After ascending to the 5th rank, its prefix became moderate, indicating a substantial enhancement. The speed of opening the acupoint also underwent a qualitative change. The number of Tiger Shadow clones increased from 12 to 24, a process requiring a long time to brew and create the right environment, more suitable for protracted battles. His current strength was neither here nor there, either overwhelming others or being overwhelmed. It seemed there was not much room for performance. The fancy blazing and thunderclap special effects also significantly improved, especially the latter, with a 2,000-volt high voltage, lasting for 2 breaths. The current output was quite terrifying. Not to mention ordinary people, even martial artists trapped by it would suffer greatly. Electricity might not kill, but paralysis was no issue. It could serve as a nice control skill. The effects of Wind Step, Tiger Whisker and Swallow Gold all doubled. Lu Chenju originally intended to integrate the tiger-suppressing mountains and rivers boxing as well, but found that the words indicating an integration of understanding did not appear. It seems the boxing realm still needed some more fire control. Once you return from wandering the clouds, you can learn a lower-grade tiger form true skill. Reaching the perfection of martial arts was not difficult. What was difficult was how to elevate it to the 6th realm. As the thoughts left the martial arts tree, Lu Chenju opened his eyes. As expected, he was surrounded by a circle of Songshan Martial Arts University students. But this time, he did not incite the manifestation of the Dharma ancestor, so it wasn't shocking to the world. The 124 open acupoints inside his body vibrated in unison. A torrent of mysterious power converged, rushing unrestrainedly towards Lu Chenju's limbs and skeletal muscles. Tiger and leopard thunder sound, sinews and bones sang in harmony. In full view of the public, his aura visibly climbed from the martial artist's limit of 53 points, breaking through the shackles, only stopping upon reaching 57 points. Feeling the vast power far beyond that of a martial artist, Lu Chenju knew that his chi blood had not yet reached its limit and could be further enhanced. The blood lotus treasure medicine was awesome. The onlookers looked surprised, discussing among themselves. This aura, it has surpassed a martial artist, right? Could it be that he aims to break through first here and enter the 2nd realm? He's going to make big news again, ascending at the base of the Dharma wall. Lu Chenju looked at the familiar face of Chuo Tian, head monk, and greeted him. I've seen Master Ding Yuan. Chuo Tian, head monk, smiled and said, Did you consume a treasure medicine that increases the upper limit of chi blood? Lu Chenju nodded. The others finally understood. It wasn't about breaking second. Such heavenly materials and earthly treasures that increase the chi blood limit were no different from myths for ordinary students. The person in front of them was a player who powered up through spending, enviable and unreachable. Master Ding Yuan smiled and asked, "There is another place in Shaolin Temple that also contains Dao Yun. However, this Dao Yun is extremely hidden, and the difficulty of comprehending Dao there far exceeds those places you have previously encountered. Until now, the number of successful comprehenders throughout history is merely more than 20. Young friend, are you interested in giving it a try?" As soon as he spoke, Zhen Ding and Mingxin beside him showed a slight change in expression. "Master, are you referring to the kitchen?" The onlooking Songshan martial arts university student also revealed shocked expression. In Shaolin, there was another significant place. The kitchen. It wasn't as famous as the Dharma Wall, but it was there that Master Hui Kong, who stands at the absolute peak, once comprehended the Tao Yun of the sages and ultimately created the Tathagata Divine Palm ninth form, all Buddhas paying homage, elevating this divine skill to the level of a supreme divine skill, the pinnacle of mastery. It was on that very day. Master Hui Kong stepped onto the absolute peak, becoming the first in the Buddhist community to break through 7 shackles. Without hesitation, Lu Chenju said, "All right, I will give it a try." He didn't care about what others thought. Not comprehending wasn't a cause for shame. Master Ding Yuan smiled and said, "Come follow me, young friend." On the way, Lu Chenju looked at Master Mingxin next to him and said, "Thank you, senior, for imparting me the Bodhi technique." "No trouble at all, merely a small effort. How is Mr. Chen doing?" "Mr. Chen has gone to cultivate in the void realm." "All right then." Zhen Ding couldn't help but look at Lu Chenju and asked, "Your tiger form fist theory, has it reached the 5th realm?" "Yes, I just had an epiphany." Zhen Ding fell silent. To step into the 5th realm of boxing, at the martial artist's realm. He, too, had entered the 5th realm at the same time as his breakthrough second. In this regard, he did not measure up to Lu Chenju. Fist theory is but one aspect of martial arts. It doesn't represent much. All I can say is that this boy does, indeed, possess a form of absolute peak potential. In the upcoming golden age, he will be a hidden formidable opponent. To contend with such a person is truly a fortunate affair. Zhen Ding felt uplifted within his heart, eagerly wishing for Lu Chenju to grow up rapidly. Only then could he joyfully engage in a fierce battle. He was the typical rash and boisterous martial monk. Master Ding Yuan's heart ached slightly. What a pity, what a pity. The pain, it's too great. Why must such a talent belong neither to Taoism nor Buddhism? Master Ding Yuan learned from a spy that the Zhenwu Palace had possibly secretly sent Lu Chenju a true martial command, hinting at the possibility that the Taoists might strike first. Thus, he proactively proposed that Lu Chenju should take the kitchen test, promising that if he passed, he would be granted the Dharma Order of Shaolin, along with an honorary nominal position, to unite him with the Buddhist front without digging into their numbers. Indistinctly, North Shaolin and South Wuding began an arms race. The target was Lu Chenju. Meanwhile, in some place in Su City, Gukainqian, Guardian Su, and Tang Zheng, the 3 heads of dark forces, met again. Compared to before, Tang Zheng, who returned from the Void Realm, appeared even more deranged, like a volcano on the verge of eruption, his demonic power ceaselessly eroding his will. However, his aura had become stronger. Although he did not find the secret treasure of the frenzied Dragon King, he found another opportunity. This time he emerged solely to hunt down Lu Feng. The 3 gathered here, awaiting a new ally. Soon enough, a tall, thin man with long hair and a baseball cap tucked his hands into his pockets as he approached. With a confident smile, he introduced himself. "Let me introduce myself. My name is Li Heicheng, the protector of eternal heaven." Guardian Li came to Jiangnan for 2 reasons. One was to find the Holy Daughter, and the other was that various sects had recently formed the True God Covenant to jointly handle the growing power of De Zia martial artists. Tang Zheng, with a grin that stretched across his face, said, "From the West 8 countries." Upon hearing this, Li Heicheng's expression darkened, and behind him emerged a sinister and eerie shadow with writhing tentacles, similar to that of Dear Master, with a chilling evil aura reaching for the skies. The fearsome tentacles had not even approached Tang Zheng before they were torn apart by the bloody demonic dragon Chi Po that surged forth from his aura. An invisible contention erupted between the two instantly. Tang Zheng sneered. What kind of ghostly thing is that, daring to contend with my Chi Po? Li Haisheng refused to show weakness. That thing you call Chi Po, just a trash who had a breakthrough in mnemonic skills. Just as the two were about to fight, the most powerful of them, Gu Kaienqian, frowned and said, "Enough, how can we achieve anything if you act like this? Tang Zheng, restrain yourself." Tang Zheng's gaze regained its sanity, and he crossed his arms and stood by. Gu Kaienqian continued, "We have joined forces from all four directions with a shared goal in mind. I advise everyone not to turn on each other before we achieve our goals, lest we end up benefiting De Zia. If we want to operate in Sioux City for the long term, we cannot avoid dealing with Lu Feng. If we can successfully take him down, everyone will be pleased." Tang Zheng's eyes flashed with madness as he said, "Lu Feng must die. Otherwise, if he becomes a great grandmaster, there will be no place for us in Sioux City. Also, there's the recently famed Lu Chenju. As the leading figure of the younger generation in Sioux City Dragon Marshal, he must also die. He specializes in both internal and external skills. If he becomes a grandmaster, he will be another annoying Lu Feng." Gu Kaienqian's heart stirred, and she said with a smile, "On that note, if Grandmaster Tang can take down Lu Chenju, my heart happiness sect could provide you with some blood slaves and heavenly materials and earthly treasures for your cultivation. How about it?" Since Tang Zheng had thoughts already, she simply seized the opportunity to push this difficult task on him. Tang Zheng's gaze shifted. Say what he might, having him hunt down Lu Chenju was out of the question. He was nearly insane but not stupid. Who knew what kind of trump card Wang Changming had given to Lu Chenju? Of course, he did not immediately refuse. "I'll think about it." He had a few death soldiers under his command who were not weak. Since Lu Chenju was currently traveling outside, it was indeed a great opportunity to attempt assassination and try his luck. Chapter 420, 273 Secrets of the Void Realm, the Figure of World Venerate 3K. Gu Kaienqian knew that Tang Zheng was moved. "If you have any ideas, you can find me anytime." In fact, she had already thought about giving up on assassinating Lu Chenju. However, the blood heavenly dog was too stubborn, insisting on Lu Chenju's death. It was understandable, though. According to her knowledge, the annihilation of the heavenly tiger clan, although a collective result of an alliance among the great demon races, was led by the heavenly dog clan. Having died once, the blood heavenly dog had become suspicious and paranoid. He worried constantly that the heavenly tiger clan would make a comeback. Of course, Gu Kaienqian was still an outsider. She was not very clear about the deep-rooted feuds involving the ancient relic species in the restricted areas and the void realm. These events were too ancient, so ancient that the De Zia civilization had not yet emerged at that time. Anyway, according to the teachings of the Heart Happiness sect, the assembly of stars and gods descended upon the mountain and sea world, found it to be in a dire epoch, with the six paths in disarray. The gods sought to bring light to the world by forging alliances, resulting in an earth-shattering divine war in the ancient times with the group of gods of wilderness in the mountain and sea world. In terms of sheer power, the assembly of stars and gods was stronger. However, due to their lack of unity, they fought unsuccessfully for a long time. The duration and impact of the divine war were profound. The doctrine stated, "The desolate gods claim to be divine, but they are nothing more than a group of stubborn, ignorant savages resistant to change. They stubbornly resisted, trying to prevent the true God from bringing freedom, hope, light, and a future to the mountain and sea world." Afterward, the seas hung reversed in the sky. Continents shattered and drifted. 9 suns fell from the firmament. The world plunged into eternal night. Disasters ravaged the mountain and sea. Civilized races were annihilated. Fortunately, the rebels were exterminated by the assembly of stars. Evil did not overcome good. What has continued to this day is the assembly of stars and gods. Of course, the last-ditch counterattacks of these rebels also caused heavy losses to the assembly of stars and gods. Some divine positions shattered, fell to the mortal realm, unable to find their way back to the divine kingdom. Some gods had their divine fire extinguished, permanently fallen, transforming into stars relegated to the remote depths of space. Many more gods were demoted in realm, their divine kingdoms crashed to the earth, turning into domains of gods. Of course, mortals call it a forbidden zone. With the divine kingdom shattered and divine powers incomplete, the gods imprisoned by mountain and sea worlds' rules within their domains have over long ages slowly regained some strength. But far from enough. The assembly of stars and gods needs the devout faith of all beings to restore their divine power. Only then can they repair the divine kingdom, allowing it to hang high above the mountain and sea world once more, transforming into an assembly of stars. The gods will use more advanced starry rules and laws to transform this scar-ridden land, restoring everything to its rightful order. That is the vision of the gods, a beautiful new world. Kitchen. Young friend, go inside. Master Ding Yuan bowed slightly towards the kitchen with his hands together. Lu Chenju also bowed respectfully to his predecessors. From this humble kitchen a great figure had emerged, Kongwen Divine Monk. This great figure, a contemporary of LV Zhu, had followed in LV Zhu's footsteps as the second person to set foot in the fifth realm and become a great grandmaster. With astonishing wisdom, he comprehended the world venerates Tathagata method, creating the peerless, unique Tathagata divine palm that startled ancient and modern times, above and below the heavens. His identity as a fire monk added a touch of legend to his character. Screech, the dusty wooden door was pushed open. What appeared before his eyes was just an ordinary kitchen. The blackened stove, the coated wooden barrels, the rusty large pot. This was the birthplace of a legendary figure. Lu Chenju revered every inch, every corner of this place. So ordinary is there no Dao Yun. After observing for a few minutes, Lu Chenju couldn't help but speak. He was a man who had attained enlightenment at hidden immortal rock with just one glance. Could it be that my affinity with Tao is deeper, but with the Buddha only ordinary? Lu Chenju pondered inwardly. Outside, three powerful beings each found a spot to sit cross-legged. Zhen Ding looked at the kitchen and asked, "Senior, do you think Lu Chenju can succeed in attaining enlightenment?" He had succeeded previously, but it took him a month. Besides him, none of the younger generation of Songshan succeeded. Before them, the only successful figure was Chu Tian head monk. Even the genius and possessor of the dragon-subduing Buddha body, Lei Jinggang Mingxin, had not attained enlightenment. Attaining enlightenment in this kitchen did not just depend on comprehension, but also on affinity with the method and luck. Master Ding Yuan said, "I believe he can succeed." Mingxin looked surprised. Master has such high regard for Lu Chenju. Yes, I felt he was exceptional from the first moment I saw him. All right. Ding Yuan closed his eyes to wait. His firm belief in Lu Chenju's potential was due to a visit last month to Songshan City, where he met Master Hui Kong. The Venerable had predicted that, at the latest within 3 years, someone from beyond the mountains, fitting the world venerates image, would successfully attain enlightenment in the kitchen. Ding Yuan believed it would be Lu Chenju. While far from the 3-year mark, no one more likely than Lu Chenju would emerge over the next 3 years. Betting on him early wasn't a problem. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. In the blink of an eye, a day had passed. Today, Lu Chenju had done nothing but observe and search the kitchen, hoping to comprehend the underlying Dao Yun, yet so far, he had achieved nothing. He began to doubt himself and whether he could succeed in attaining enlightenment. He was not unique. He could only reveal Zhangzhu by relying on the martial arts tree. Without the martial arts tree, he was nothing. His thoughts began to wander, and his will wavered slightly. He became alert, fortified his mind, concentrated his spirit, and stabilized his Tao heart. How could this be? Am I still too impatient? Lu Chenju questioned himself. After calming down, he gazed at the swaying martial arts tree, lost in contemplation within. Martial arts tree gives me too much self-confidence, but what if this tree did not exist? Suddenly, his gaze fell upon one of its leaves. Bodhi technique, second layer 36%. This secret technique, since he had perfected the minor Bodhi body, Lu Chenju practiced it as fate allowed, intermittently, and additionally, due to its inherently high difficulty, his progress was very slow. In his mind, Chenju's words echoed. This secret technique, created by Kongwen Divine Monk, is said to be inspired by observing the Dharma ancestors' transformation into enlightenment and his debates with others on Zen, during which he understood these 4 lines of scripture, thereby creating the Bodhi technique, based on this theoretical foundation. Lu Chenju, as if enlightened, murmured to himself. Bodhi is not a tree, bright mirror is not a platform. Originally nothing was possessed, where can dust a light? He looked toward the Tenjiang treasure tree in the inner scenery land. Bodhi is not a tree. Gradually, he understood everything. Lu Chenju discarded his distracting thoughts, cleared his mind, and no longer fixated on successfully comprehending the enlightenment. He treated the kitchen as his daily practice room, and he began to practice heavenly pile. Let things be as they will. Since this kitchen's comprehension of enlightenment greatly relied on fate and did not scrutinize comprehension, Lu Chenju decided to display his truest self, going with the flow, without any tree in his heart. If fixated on enlightenment, one would succumb to the lower grade. If it is fated, the sublime Dharma will come on its own. That night, outside the kitchen, Zhen Ding shook his head and left. What a pity, I thought he might create a miracle by attaining enlightenment in a single day. Not long after, Mingxin also left. Master, aren't you going back? At this time, Ding Yuan Zen Master was sitting in a peculiar position, meditating. He was practicing the dragon-elephant heaven-supporting divine skill, a cultivation method known as the hardest in the world, requiring immense perseverance, determination, luck, and talent. After all, just opening the acupoints could stymie any great grandmaster of this world, not to mention a divine skill that was both time and energy-consuming. Ding Yuan Zen Master opened his eyes and said, "Wherever is not cultivation, I am not going back." He wanted to see if Lu Chenju could attain enlightenment. Mingxin smiled and said, "Okay, then I'll have someone send you vegetarian meals." "Thank you." Here, Esther hoping this young man succeeds in enlightenment. Although Mingxin himself didn't achieve enlightenment through fate, he still hoped Lu Chenju would succeed. Buddhist law, after all, should benefit all beings. Outside the kitchen, only Ding Yuan Zen Master was left, quietly watching the kitchen, serene and distant. Can he succeed? The next day, the sun rose in the east. Apart from Lu Chenju, only a few scattered disciples of Songshan Martial Arts University came to the kitchen to seek enlightenment. After a futile attempt, everyone left shaking their heads, lamenting. Alas, I couldn't sense even a trace of Dao Yun. Yeah, it feels like even sitting dry for half a year would be fruitless. Apparently, Zhen Ding went without food and drink for a month before he succeeded in enlightenment. That's too difficult, wouldn't that starve someone? Outside the door, people looked at Lu Chenju practicing heavenly pile inside the kitchen. Speaking of which, did this chief of Dragon City give up? I don't understand, why did he start practicing heavenly pile? Is there something particular about it? Not sure, should we also give it a try? Some began to imitate his method, quietly practicing heavenly pile by the side. Some guessed Lu Chenju's intention. He might be trying to go with the flow, waiting for the Dharma to come naturally. Thus, inspired by Lu Chenju, many disciples spread the word, congregating both inside and outside the kitchen, either boxing or practicing inner strength, creating a lively scene. Ding Yuan Zen Master looked at these lovely students, his lips curling into a smile. Hehata. This kitchen hadn't been this lively in a long time. Time passed day by day. People came and went from the kitchen, continually rotating. Those with exceptional patience could follow through from start to finish. Many others, however, came and went in haste. Many came with the goal of enlightenment, but if they couldn't achieve their goal after a long period naturally, they couldn't afford to waste time here. They had other important matters. Lu Chenju settled down in the kitchen. When it was time to eat, he would go to the Shaolin Temple cafeteria for food. For sleeping, he would just sleep on the ground, carefree and comfortable. When thirsty, he fetched a bucket of spring water from Shayashi Mountain to drink. From time to time, he also chatted with the Shaolin disciples. He forgot everything, living in his own world. This world was the Buddha, martial arts, his inner self. All the hubbub of the mundane world had nothing to do with him. He didn't purposely act in any way but followed his heart and acted naturally. Gradually, he became no different from the Shaolin disciples. The major news about Zhang Zu's divine manifestation and the reversing attack break two shackles also gradually faded with the world's ever-changing days. On this day, Lu Chenju ended his heavenly pile cultivation. Unconsciously, it's been a month since I came to Shaolin. The special effects of the 5th rank divine seeds acupoints, coupled with the previous enhancement from changing his root bone and other factors, allowed him to practice for 12 hours a day and open 4 acupoints in a month. The breakpoint of the second layer was not far off now. Chapter 421, 274. Once you attain enlightenment, 10,000 Buddhas come to worship, 3K for monthly tickets and subscriptions. During this time, Lu Chenju had no other lessons. Aside from eating, drinking, relieving himself, and sleeping after opening the acupoint, Lu Chenju also brought Arhat Fist to perfection. Arhat Fist, perfection. Divine Seed Arhat first rank, hidden within the Shaisheng acupoint. 6 senses purified, free from the troubles of ignorance. Effect 1. Buddha wisdom of the first level slightly increases comprehension of Buddhist martial arts. Effect 2. Arhat of the first level slightly increases comprehension of Shaolin fist technique. Effect 3. Purity, inner peace and distractions do not disturb. An interesting special effect. Lu Chenju looked at the words pure and clean. Although it was only a third-rate fist technique, upon perfection, his mentality and soul had an indescribable sublimation. Now, his mindset ascended to another level. More so, he emanated the aura of a true enlightened sage. This reminded him of Tai Chi boxing. These 2 fist techniques, the ultimate in simplicity, returned to nature and truth. The unique special effects they nurtured upon perfection were also extraordinary. Yin-yang, reconciling contradictions. Purity, blocking out annoyances. In Lu Chenju's eyes, there was a kind of clear enlightenment. He turned his gaze towards another leaf. Tiger Demon Tai Sway Technique, third layer 93%. In the past month, he gradually reduced the training time of Tiger Demon Tai Sway Technique. As his chi blood rose by the day, he felt that the upper limit for his chi blood should be around 60 points. The remaining difference in chi blood could be rectified by opening the acupoint. Thus, slowing down the inner strength training would be appropriate. He could wait to break through the second shackle before making a breakthrough, to avoid waste. As for cross-training martial arts, the cultivation of Ming King body and pure Yang unlimited shield hadn't fallen behind. Chuo Tian head monk gave him access to train in Shaolin's gravity room. Of course, he needed to pay the standard market rate. He couldn't ask for special treatment. Even the Shaolin disciples had to pay. That Chuo Tian head monk let an outsider like him use it for an extended period was already exceedingly generous. One day cost 100,000, which amounted to 3 million a month. After leaving school, all expenses converted into money made Lu Chenju appreciate even more the value of great merit. Fortunately, he was not short of money now. With a deposit of 80 million, he had enough for 2 years of use. In the end, Lu Chenju looked towards Bodhi technique. Bodhi technique, second layer 50%. During this time, the fastest progress belonged to this long-neglected chi mechanism cultivation secret technique, which advanced much faster than before, almost as if he were in an inspired state. However, based on previous experiences, there was no such inspiration in secret technique cultivation. Lu Chenju thought it over. In the end, he concluded that this was probably related to the kitchen's Daoyuan. His natural cultivation had already unknowingly grasped the sage's Daoyuan. With the blessing of the creator of this method, the speed of secret technique cultivation could surge dramatically. All wisdom lies within those 4 lines of scripture. Bodhi has no tree, the bright mirror is also not a platform. A month into seeking Tao, he no longer cared about the success of his enlightenment. Being too obsessed with the outcome often meant losing sight of the journey's beauty. Just like his impromptu long journey, the most beautiful scenery was found along the way. Buddhism places great importance on spiritual wisdom and enlightenment. Dharma said before entering Tao, "Seek not the Buddha afar, as the spirit mountain is within your own heart. Understanding this is true liberation." Zhang said, "When the heart dies, the body also perishes." The word heart is the most abstract. With Lu Chenju's current realm, he couldn't articulate it clearly. So he took it as it came. This hermitage in Shaolin Temple was comfortable, and he planned to stay for another 2 months before continuing on his journey as planned. Who? He finished his cultivation practice and stood up. By his side, a young Buddhist disciple asked, "Brother Lu, have you achieved success in your enlightenment?" Lu Chenju replied with a smile that was not quite a smile. As if enlightened. The disciples pondered Lu Chenju's words, with a sense of understanding yet not fully grasping. As if enlightened, what does that mean? Does it have something to do with the world venerate Tathagata? Could he have grasped the Tathagata method? It wouldn't be the Tathagata divine palm, would it? The crowd began to speculate, and then were even more eager in their pursuit of enlightenment. Who wouldn't want to grasp even a single move of the Tathagata divine palm? Leaving the quarters, Lu Chenju carried a bucket. Ding Yuan Zen, master, sat cross-legged on the ground, surrounded by a circle of disciples listening to his sermon. Lu Chenju also set down the bucket and sat on the ground, listening attentively. When the sermon concluded, everyone dispersed. He picked up his bucket again, patted the dust off his bottom. Ding Yuan Zen master asked, "Young friend, have you gained anything recently?" Lu Chenju answered with a smile. "I've reaped a bountiful harvest." "Have you succeeded in your enlightenment?" As if enlightened, Lu Chenju moved quickly like the wind, towards the spring in the mountains. Ding Yuan Zen master was slightly stunned, seemingly enlightened. As if enlightened, ha ha ha, he really did get it. Yes, the state of enlightenment in the kitchen is indeed as if enlightened. In plain language it means, it seems like enlightenment, and yet it seems not. This is why enlightenment in the kitchen is so extremely difficult. Because many people become enlightened without knowing it, which is as good as not having enlightened at all. If you can feel your own enlightenment, then you have succeeded. Ding Yuan Zen master left the kitchen to return to his closed-door cultivation. This child truly possesses the demeanor of the world venerate. On Xiaxi Mountain, Qingliang Peak. Atop Qingliang Peak stood a temple. Within the temple dwelled an old monk. Outside the temple was a water storage pond, filled with spring water from the peak of Qingliang. After a month of cultivation at Shaolin Temple, Lu Chenju had become quite familiar with the old monk. The old monk was wide and plump with a fair complexion. His cultivation was not weak, he was a martial arts grandmaster. As for his title, Lu Chenju did not know. The old monk was not there to guard something. He was merely cultivating in tranquility, shrouded in a layer of mysterious veil. Just like the sweeper monk out of the martial arts novels. The old monk opened his eyes and smiled. "Coming to fetch water again." Have you succeeded in enlightenment?" "As if enlightened." "Ha, as if enlightened." The old monk laughed without speaking, lying on the rocking chair looking at Lu Chenju. When drawing water, Lu Chenju looked at his own reflection in the pool. His beard was unkempt, uncared for. Without grooming for a month, he instead exuded a more rugged charm. This is good too. As he placed the bucket at the edge of the pool, he suddenly noticed that the face reflected in the water seemed not his own, but another with an aged visage. That face was the old monk's. Turning around, the old monk's large face was close to his. "Elder, what brings you?" "Nothing." "All right then, I will take my leave." Lu Chenju filled a bucket with water and drank it all in one gulp. Then he took another bucket of water and left with brisk steps. At that moment, a tourist visiting Xiaxi Mountain passed by the reservoir. Leaning on his walking stick, he looked at the retreating figure of Lu Chenju, puzzled. What's that young man mumbling to himself? He approached the edge of the reservoir and looked down. Finally, he shook his head and left helplessly. There's nothing there. Time flew like an arrow, days passed like the weaving of a shuttle. In the blink of an eye, another 2.5 months hurried by. Today was October 1st, marking the 100th day since Lu Chenju entered Shaolin Temple. It was also the 6th anniversary of the awakening of the martial arts tree. Gradually, the number of onlookers dwindled. The kitchen also returned to its usual quiet state. Lu Chenju, staying in Shaolin Temple like an exchange student, would occasionally attend some public classes. Although they were basic, he benefited greatly. The people here were also very warm-hearted. Especially the old monk from Qingliang Peak. This grandmaster often stopped Lu Chenju while he was drawing water to test him on Buddhist doctrines. Lu Chenju's foundation in Buddhist law was far from shallow. Over time, under the old monk's guidance, his Buddhist realm progressed to a level comparable to an ordinary martial artist of Shaolin Temple, akin to the third realm of fist theory. The direct benefit was that the cultivation progress of the two Buddhist martial arts techniques, Golden Bell Jade Drum Ming King Body and Bodhi technique, improved significantly. On this day, in the cross-training chamber, Lu Chenju stood firmly on the ground like a robust pine, the sound of the pneumatic limbs striking him loudly, leaving red welts. This severe pain was unimaginable for the average person, yet Lu Chenju remained silent, continuously testing his limits. Two unceasing forces within his body were healing his injuries at the same time, accelerating the regeneration of his flesh, which grew stronger. One was the effect of the Minju Great Medicine. The other was the innate blood lotus treasure chi. With various factors at play, his body's metabolism was far faster than normal. His powerful blood-making and marrow generation capability ensured the rapid breakthrough of cross-training. At a certain moment, a mechanical limb swung through the air toward him, but when it was an inch from his back, it seemed to hit an invisible barrier, unable to proceed further, and trembled with a buzz. From within Lu Chenju's body, an energy as golden and flawless as jade, clear as crystal emerged from the 136 acupoints. Bursting forth from his pores, it intertwined with the intangible aura and finally gathered within an inch around his body to form a bell. Thump! The sound, akin to that of the yellow bell great lyre, reverberated in the cross-training chamber. A pale golden, foot-high crystal bell manifested out of thin air, withstanding the relentless strikes of the mechanical limbs. The bell stood immovable with undulating ripples on its surface, dissipating the violent force layer by layer. Lu Chenju took a step forward and the bell moved with him. He jumped and the bell rose as well, guarding him every step of the way. He looked towards the martial arts tree. Golden Bell Jade Drum Ming King Body, great success 1%. Few, the most essential technique of the Ming King body, Golden Bell Protection, is finally cultivated. This step was called Golden Bell Protection. When perfected, it would be the Golden Jade Ming King. Once fully perfected, one becomes one with the bell, indistinguishable. If I had mastered the Golden Bell Protection earlier, would the assassin have been able to breach my defense? It would have been very difficult. The previous layers of the Ming King body mainly enhanced stability and explosive power, the training of domineering body. Only at this layer did it significantly improve defense. This was a qualitative change in defensive power. With the bell alone, one could easily withstand sniper rifle bullets. Moreover, the defense was all-encompassing and angleless, as the great bell was the product of combined aura and mysterious power. Therefore, even if an enemy could tunnel under the ground, they wouldn't bypass the bell's protection. It's time to leave now. There are some places I have yet to visit. Lu Chenju didn't plan on touring all the landscapes of Dazia. He only needed to visit the famous mountains of Buddha Dao and the great practitioners' arenas. Before leaving, he went to a temple. Mingxin Elder, I must bid you farewell. The white-robed monk came out smiling. May the winds be in your favor. The master had said that Lu Chenju had already achieved successful enlightenment. As for what he had realized, no one knew. Lu Chenju bowed solemnly with a fist in hand. If Ding Yuan Chanshi breaks through, please convey to the elder that Lu Chenju is leaving and thanks everyone for their care during this time, a kindness never to be forgotten. Understood. After bidding farewell to the elders, Lu Chenju said goodbye to the new friends he had made. Brother Lu, have a pleasant journey. Brother Lu, what exactly have you realized? Brother Lu, good luck with your next breakthrough. Laughter echoed around Xiaxi Mountain. Outside the long pavilion, beside the ancient road, Lu Chenju finally arrived at Qingliang Peak. The old monk opened his eyes and asked, Are you leaving? I'm heading to Wudai Mountain. Wudai Mountain, a fine place. Elder, this is where I take my leave. I'm grateful for the care I've received here. My Buddhist realm improved rapidly during this time, and my stay at Shaolin Temple will never be forgotten. The old monk nodded and smiled. His rotund figure rose from the rocking chair. His aura climbed step by step, saintly and Buddha-like, pointing one hand at the sky, the other at the ground, walking 7 steps in a circle, gazing in all directions. In an instant, the 72 peaks of Songshan thundered with the sound of ancient chimes. In Lu Chenju's world, each peak of Songshan bloomed like a lotus petal. Eventually, a 72-petaled golden lotus unfurled between heaven and earth, its Buddha light piercing the sky. Songshan became the lotus platform, the world the spirit mountain. The old monk sat in a meditative pose at the center of the world. Myriads of Buddhas from all around revered him, displaying their majestic forms. I possess a technique, upon mastering which one can traverse both heaven and Elder, I will learn it. Is it the Tathagata Divine Palm? Chapter 422, 275 World Venerable Suffering Method, Tathagata General Outline 4K. In the center of the lotus platform, the old monk asked with a light chuckle, "Do you know who I am?" But Kong Wen, who once studied the Dharma wall to comprehend Tao and grasp the wondrous Buddhist way, who witnessed the appearance of the Bodhisattva golden lion in the world, subduing demons and mastering the Vajra lion roar, who once with a single palm slew the mad dragon king that brought chaos to the central plains, annihilating the blood sea demon sect, and before his bodily dissolution, comprehended the Tathagata method, creating the Tathagata divine palm, and discussed Tao with Zhangzhu. As a scholastic genius, Lu Chenju had memorized the history of De Zia martial arts thoroughly. The ultimate achievements of the divine monk Kong Wen were no less impressive than those of Zhangzhu, standing as an immovable mountain in the history of Buddhist martial arts, a figure even more distinguished than the Dharma ancestor. Did you discover my identity long ago? No, I only found out recently. Hell? Chatting with other disciples, they mentioned that Qingliang Peak is uninhabited. Hehata? The old monk laughed heartily and sincerely. Interesting, very interesting. Lu Chenju was undisturbed, like an ancient well without ripples. Had this been before his conversation with Zhangzhu, he might have been shocked, yet having met Zhangzhu, he had somewhat expected this. Beings like these that once stood at the pinnacle of the era, comparable to the present-day absolute peak, possessed wills so strong that they might transcend the confines of time and space, everlasting throughout eons. Dao Yun was where they resided. The old monk asked, "The Tathagata divine palm I created has 6 forms, but given the abilities of later generations, they have no doubt derived a 7th, an 8th form. Thus, you don't need to learn the Tathagata divine palm from me. Martial arts cultivation today surpasses the past. Learning from me would be to forsake what's near to seek what's far. The cultivation method I wish to transmit to you is called the World Venerable Suffering Method, simply abbreviated to Suffering Method. It is a heart-refining method. You can regard it as the syllabus and precursor of the Tathagata Divine Palm cultivation. If you can practice this method to good extent, then go on to cultivate the Tathagata Divine Palm, and even comprehend your own World Venerable Absolute skill. All are possible, and all would be in accordance with the law." Lu Chenju pondered in his heart. World Venerable Suffering Method, I've never heard of it. The current hymn could basically determine that these great beings hidden behind the scenes had not truly perished, for their wisdom and memories were still extant. They were still immersed in the illusions they wove over long years, continuing to study the Buddhist law and create martial arts unheard of by later generations. He recalled the scene before Dharma's entering Tao, where Chi Po and life intertwined, celestial phenomena emerged, ultimately residing within the Dharma wall, becoming Tao Yun for future generations. And Heavenly Master Zhang, with the auspicious purple Qi rising from the east. LV Zhu, ascending to heavens amidst rosy clouds. All these phenomena should have explanations. Contemporary grandmasters, great grandmasters, and even heavenly kings cannot achieve this feat. Only the path breakers at the pinnacle of the era can leave their mark in Tao Yun. Moreover, individuals like Prince N, Ji Xianwang, and others had no interactions with me within the illusion. So far, only Zhangzhu and divine monk Kong Wen have interacted with me. This indicates that not all of the sages who left behind Tao Yun are aware of my existence. These were all Lu Chenju's conjectures. Tao Yun martial arts will, heavenly heart life and death. They were all too ethereal and elusive. With his low realm, he could not see the essence. The old monk said, "Before transmitting the method, let me ask you a few questions. They are not meant to test you. Knowing is knowing. Not knowing is not knowing. There's no need to worry or deceive me. Senior, please ask. What is a world venerate?" The Buddha embodies all virtues, receiving the world's veneration, hence the title world venerate. What is a kalpa tribulation? Junior doesn't understand what you're specifically asking. What is the heart? The thoughts of a person, the will of martial arts. What is? The old monk questioned, and Lu Chenju responded. Before they knew it, dozens of questions had been asked. Many questions Lu Chenju could not answer. The old monk was not upset. His face always carried a smile. Finally he asked, "Have you met Zhangzhu?" "I have." "Is Zhangzhu still well?" Zhangzhu failed to enter the 6th realm and became a Taoist immortal. I know that. I'm asking about his current well-being. Oh, he's quite well. After all, you're all in the Dao Yun, carefree, beyond disaster and tribulation. In some way, isn't this also what becoming an immortal or a Buddha is? The old monk continued to question. Do you have the resolve to become a pathbreaker? I do. In the current human world, how many tribulations are there? Lu Chenju briefed the old monk on the state of the human world. The human world has long suffered from 3 calamities. Seizing this opportunity to complain to a sage. Upon hearing this, the old monk's face grew solemn, then he sighed. Indeed, the influence of the netherworld has deepened. The good news is that martial arts are also growing rapidly, and humanity is breaking limits at an increasing rate. Just in Dazia, there are 14 seventh realm powerhouses, and if counting other nations overseas, there may be as many as 24 human seventh realm powerhouses. The old monk did not say much. He had seen the most profound horrors. Thus, he always exuded an aura of compassion and pity for the world. He said, after you leave, you may share this method with the current abbot of Shaolin Temple. Junior will remember. Subsequently, the old monk began to preach to Lu Chenju, with every true word emerging in the world, forming a golden scroll that eclipsed the sun and sky, holy and immense, the Buddhist law endless. All 3 realms and the 10 directions, world venerate Tathagata. With Lu Chenju's current Buddha wisdom and cultivation, it was difficult to grasp the meaning of these true words at first, but it did not matter, for the old monk was passing on the essence directly to him. Moreover, he had the martial arts tree. After an indeterminate amount of time, Lu Chenju opened his eyes. He looked at his reflection in the reservoir. It's over. In his mind, the martial arts tree swayed gracefully. At some point, it had grown to 11 Zhang. Chapter 423, 275 World Venerable Suffering Method, Tathagata General Outline, 4K/2. On the main trunk, a new cultivation technique emerged. Tribulation Heart Scripture of the 3 worlds in 10 directions. First layer, 1%. The position of this inner strength technique was even above pure Yang Great Pill skill. It was even higher than Cloud Ascending Ladder. Being able to serve as the overarching principle for Tathagata Divine Palm, it inevitably belonged to the level of divine skills, and its most special aspect was that it was a purely refining heart cultivation method, similar to the meditation of spiritual practitioners, or the heart intent diagram created by Dazia. From the imposing name, this should be even more formidable. Lu Chenju digested the enlightening information. World Venerable Suffering Method. To cultivate this method, one must possess at least 3rd realm cultivation, or reach the 5th realm in the boxing realm. Those whose martial arts will is not firm should not cultivate it, as it would not refine the heart effectively. Instead, it might lead them to get lost in tribulations. Lu Chenju was shaken inside. Such strict requirements for learning, could it be a supreme divine skill? A flood of information poured into his mind, leaving him standing there, dumbstruck. This method of cultivation is truly astonishing. He turned back and headed towards the direction of Shaolin Temple. He intended to fulfill the promise and pass this technique on to the Shaolin abbot. Everything atop Qingliang Peak was as usual. The recent miracles had only occurred in Lu Chenju's mind. In the past daylight, his conversation with the old monk. It was, in fact, himself talking to himself. Mingxin looked at Lu Chenju as he returned. A young friend, did you forget something? Lu Chenju bowed with his hands clasped. Senior, I wish to see Master Huikong. As soon as Lu Chenju spoke, it made the young novice monk beside him burst into laughter. You might be the top martial artist of Dragon City, but Master Huikong is not someone you can just see whenever you wish. Such a grand figure, even great grandmasters find it extremely difficult to meet. Mingxin pondered for a moment and said, All right, young friend, wait for my news. He intuitively thought. Lu Chenju wanting to see the abbot might be related to his enlightenment in the kitchen. The master said Lu Chenju had enlightened successfully and must have also understood some profound martial arts. No matter the level of these martial arts, as long as they are created by the ancestors, they hold value. Before long, Chu Tian head monk came striding over, smiling and asked, Young friend wishes to see the abbot. Yes. What for? I've successfully enlightened in the kitchen and discovered a profound method. He did not elaborate further or mention that it was the guidance of Kangwen divine monk, as conversing with a past sage would be too shocking for the world. Just enlightening on martial arts was quite normal. Chu Tian head monk laughed heartily. Follow me. He knew Lu Chenju had successfully enlightened. During this period, some grandmasters and great-grandmasters had expressed doubts. They felt that since Lu Chenju did not have a successful enlightenment, he should not continue residing in the sacred kitchen. In the end, their objections were firmly suppressed by Chu Tian head monk. He was a true inheritor of Master Hui Kang, holding a lofty position. Even if some people were displeased, they dared not speak out. Soon after, Lu Chenju followed the head monk to a seven-tiered pagoda, entirely carved and constructed from white jade stone, its surface overgrown with moss and ivy. Chu Tian head monk said, "There are two entrances to the void realm location of Songshan City, a large one and a small one. The larger is located in a village at the foot of Songshan, guarded personally by the military. We, Shaolin Temple, have had a smaller entrance from ancient times, which is this pagoda." Lu Chenju inquired, "Senior, is this the demon-suppressing tower?" Martial arts history records that during the era of the Great Capital Dynasty, an ancient well in the back mountain of Shaolin Temple suddenly erupted with blood, creating a plume of blood smoke visible for 100 miles. Originally, it was where the terrifying powers of the netherworld intersected with the human world, opening a portal to the netherworld here. A multitude of demons and ghosts surged out from the netherworld, including formidable demons and ghost kings. The strong warriors of Shaolin Temple mobilized en masse. Wandering experts and secular disciples rushed back to Shaolin, monks from Wudai Mountain, Taoists from Qian Mountain, and hermits from Jiangnan Mountain and others came to aid from all directions. The battle lasted for 3 days and nights, blood flowing into rivers, staining the Buddhist land. At last, Kangwen divine monk ascended to the fifth realm, and alongside Zhang Zhu, who rushed over from overseas, they killed the chief culprit, the great demon king, Red Pupil King. The calamity of demon ghosts had finally subsided. After this battle, the great capital's world saw many masters perish. Zhang Zhu and the divine monk collected white jade stone from Kunlun Mountain and many heavenly materials and earthly treasures and invited Buddhist Taoist masters to the site. They conducted rituals over 49 days to forge this pagoda. Its name is Seven-Tiered Fudu. The pagoda, containing the will of the world's masters and the intention of all beings, was called the world's #1 treasure at that time. Shaolin Temple used this pagoda to suppress the ancient well. For the next 1,000 years, there would occasionally be disturbances from the well, but the demons beneath the pagoda could never break the seal to descend upon the human world. The last time the seal was broken had been quite recent. At that time, there were countless Buddhist masters who easily suppressed it. The seven-tiered Fudu was also continuously reinforced. In modern times, the military collaborated with Songshan to cleanse and eradicate the demons and ghosts from the void realm beneath the pagoda. Thus, the Fudu Tower became merely an entrance and exit. However, for safety reasons, this entry point, barring emergency or approval from higher authorities, was not permitted for use, and one would have to take the military route to reach Songshan City. Chuo Tian head monk said, "Indeed, the seven-tiered Fudu, gathering many masters' wills and the wishes of all beings, is actually a rare place of Dao Yun. However, due to its uniqueness, it cannot be open to the public. The Dao Yun here is a collective one, which is rather chaotic and disorganized. Those whose martial arts will is not firm might easily get lost inside. You must focus your mind next. If you can withstand the test, it would greatly benefit your spiritual cultivation." "Thank you, Senior." Lu Chenju knew that the monk was giving him an opportunity. Otherwise, he could simply have taken the military route. The monk placed his palms together, chanted a Buddhist mantra, and entered the tower. Lu Chenju followed closely behind, his heart intent-connected tiger gall gun buzzing insistently. There's demon energy. After ascending to an intermediate divine weapon, the tiger gall gun was particularly sensitive to demon energy, able to discern it even when diluted countless times over the years. Moreover, its spiritual intelligence was becoming more human-like. Through spiritual communication, it interacted with Lu Chenju without any obstacles. An ancient, decayed scent assaulted their senses. Chuo Tian head monk lifted a white jade stone well cover, weighing tens of tons, with one hand. He said, "Are you prepared? Ready? I jump, you jump." The old monk floated gently down from the well's mouth. Lu Chenju peered into the abyss, a well leading straight to the netherworld. In his mind, countless phantasms flashed. Demon clouds that obscured the sun, ghostly mists, giant ghosts with green faces and sharp teeth, human-faced centipedes with 1,000 legs, raging fire ghosts, and a towering red demon fox with a human face and fox body, 9 tails waving, radiating overwhelming demon energy. 9-tailed demon fox, it has already taken the body of a heavenly fox. For a fox demon, each additional tail meant an increase in strength. 3 tails equated to breakthrough second. 5 tails equated to breakthrough third. 7 tails equated to breakthrough fourth. 9 tails was equivalent to a great grandmaster. This must be the ancient great demon king, Red Fox King, recorded in the martial arts history. Along with the blood heavenly dog, both were infamous major villains. Countless residual wills of demon ghosts formed a collective entity, turning into a shadow monster with tens of thousands of tentacles. It appeared in Lu Chenju's mind, its spiritual fluctuations stronger than those of the assassin earlier, yet Lu Chenju was no longer the same. The phantom of the martial arts tree in his mind rustled, waving billions of branches like a world tree. The tentacles and branches collided, annihilating each other. Mystic tiger and a swallow rushing to the sky struck directly at the shadow monster's entity. It wasn't long before the shadow monster collapsed thunderously. Tiger Tai Sui was calmly sharpening his knife, not even needing to strike. Lu Chenju's spiritual power was so strong, it might not be inferior to the spiritual practitioners of the same realm in Po Siu ancient country. Such intense spiritual attacks couldn't touch him in the slightest. In his mind, thousands of demons and ghosts dispersed. The clouds cleared, revealing a jade palace perched high in the heavens. Countless figures stood in the clouds, like heavenly soldiers and generals. Leading them was a monk and a Taoist. Upon closer inspection, they were just ordinary-looking martial artists dressed in mundane attire. In this world, are there real gods? The peace and happiness of mankind depend solely on our own hands, not on some illusory beings.